because you know how it is.
Yeah.
You of all people know how it is.
Yeah.
But if you want to, I don't know if you've come up with some facts. We can just leave it how it is right now, or we can just bullshit after this. But
I got 2 fun facts. Yeah.
Cool. So this is like the origin-ish story of Popeyes. So I'll let JP take it away.
Okay, so in 1972, Alvin C. Copeland Sr., Al Copeland as he's known around here, opened his first restaurant, initially named Chicken on the Run.
Chicken on the Run.
After struggling, he rebranded it as Popeyes, serving Cajun-inspired fried chicken with a spicy kick, which at the time it was fucking like almost intolerable.
Yeah.
When he first started doing that, it was almost intolerable. Whenever he did that, it was inspired, of course, by the character Popeye Doyle from the 1971 film The French Connection. And that dude was actually inspired by a real guy in the British Navy in the 1890s.
No shit.
Popeye, yeah. Okay, so...
No shit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the restaurant gained fame for its authentic New Orleans-style chicken, which it did. And this is really, really funny because you know how people from in and around... You know how people from in and around New Orleans, they say dat?
Yeah.
Like, give me that right there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, get down.
Dat.
They have all that slang for stuff. Like, they call the sidewalk the banquet. And they call the median the neutral ground, right?
Yeah.
So New Orleans is... It's
My
like,
nana used to call it that, neutral ground.
yeah, and New Orleans, I don't know if anybody doesn't know this, but it's like its own fucking place. Like, it's separate from Louisiana in the way that is. You go there and it's like you're in like a tropical...
Right. I live here.
It's like a Caribbean city almost.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
live here and I think of it as like a different
It's
place.
a standalone. Like,
Yes.
as soon as you get there, it's
It
totally
has so
different.
much culture, like culminating in such a...
Yeah, they got the Irish Channel.
Yeah.
Like, which is full of a bunch of people who are descendants from Irish immigrants. And they're still that way. They still have heavy Irish accents and stuff. And then they got the French Connection side. Like, there's all this crazy stuff going on. Like, just so many...
fucking vampires.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
crazy,
yeah. And
crazy
there's all
voodoo
the voodoo
shit.
shit going on. There's always, like, New Orleans
It's
is
insane,
unreal.
man.
Anthony Bourdain has this quote that I love to say every time we're in New Orleans with somebody new. He said, there are 3 cities in the United States. New York, San Diego, and New Orleans.
Yeah, that's a good...
That's it.
It's a good
He
3
was like,
cities.
that's the 3 cities that the
like
United States has.
bam.
And New Orleans is, you know, what do
One
they
of a
call it?
kind.
What do they call it? Sin City?
I don't know. I don't know if
No, that's Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Big Easy.
Yeah, the Big Easy.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's got, I don't know why that came about, but anyway, New Orleans is its own thing. So the fact that Al Copeland, who, by the way, was friends with Tom Benson.
No shit.
You know Tom Benson.
Yeah, the owner.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, now his wife.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
That
rest in
dude was
peace.
so fucking cool. Anyway, look up Tom Benson and drop, how much you love him in the comments.
G shit.
But I do have 2 fun facts regarding older restaurants and chicken in general. And,
Yes.
and I guess just Louisiana, if you'd like.
Spit them out.
Speaking of New Orleans, I don't remember the name of the show, but it was whenever Gordon Ramsay would go to restaurants and just like...
Kitchen Nightmares.
It might be. He would go to like random restaurants and just like try an appetizer, a main, and a dessert, and just like usually just fucking tear the place apart.
I don't know about that, but I know for Kitchen Nightmares, you talking about whenever he revamps the whole restaurant?
No, he doesn't do any of that. He would just
Okay.
go there and like beef with the owner and the cook in the back and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You know, like he would go in their walk-in cooler and find like mold and
That's
and
Kitchen
shit.
Nightmares.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
Kitchen
all right.
Nightmares. Okay, I forgot where we left off.
So Gordon Ramsay, Kitchen Nightmares, you said it was
yeah,
called?
Gordon Ramsay Kitchen Nightmares.
He went to a place called Mama's Kitchen in what's called the Irish Channel, New Orleans, off Chapatula Street, near Tipitina's. You ever been to a show there, near Louisiana Avenue? Okay.
Mm-mm.
It's right where Chapatoulas is the last street before you hit the river, and it runs the whole length of New Orleans. So it's like the part of the crescent along the river.
Okay.
And there's that big flood wall. And on the other side is the greater port of New Orleans.
Okay.
Anyway, so he's in like a deep, like this is a known neighborhood restaurant, but it's not known. You can't find this on TripAdvisor. It's a small mom and pop shop.
No shit.
Like it's almost like a fucking house because the dining room is actually on the 2nd floor. You have to
No
go upstairs.
shit.
Yeah.
Dude, they make the best type of food though.
So they bring him the appetizer, which I forget what it was, probably boudin balls or hush puppies or some shit. I don't know. They bring him some appetizer. He was like, "That's very good, thank you. I'll take the mains now." And she goes, and it's the sweetest old black lady. New
I think I know
Orleans.
what you're talking about. What episode you're talking about? Is this the? Okay, I'll let you go.
So she brings back this plate that is fucking stacked. The plate had to weigh like 5 pounds because she put fucking so much food on this plate, and Gordon Ramsay is just like, God damn, like the presentation isn't really all there, but smells really
This
good.
smells fucking good.
And then it cuts to the next scene. He's walking into the kitchen where the mama and her son, they're in there cooking.
Uh-huh.
He has a clean plate in his hand.
Oh, dude, this is That's the only episode that I've ever seen because I used to watch this show religiously.
Oh, yeah?
That's the only episode where he actually likes
Loved
the
fucking
food.
dude. Yeah, and then he tells her straight up, I mean, you've got some presentation issues, but that's not really what they're going for.
Right.
That's not why we're there. We're not New Orleans. Well, some restaurants
It's
are
not like a 5-star dining thing where
dude.
presentation is key.
This place is literally their house.
Yeah.
Like, they live there.
They're just making fucking food and putting it on a fucking plate
They
and you're
could
going to eat
seat
it.
probably 12, 15 people in the whole restaurant, But he comes back in the kitchen with a clean plate. He ate all that fucking food.
That's crazy.
And he told her, hey, it was fantastic. The only thing is, I mean, like, your plating was a little weird, but other than that, it was terrific. And she started crying and she hugged him, and I was like, damn right. That's exactly what would happen if you go to some small mom and pop cafe that's like open till midnight for some fucking reason. And they open at 4 somehow.
Yeah.
You go in there and it's just like, you just get slapped with the smell of grease and seasonings, and it's like stuffy in there. And then you order a plate for like $10 and you're like, okay, that should be a good amount of food. And then you get
And it's a
so
plate.
much. Dude, if you go in there and get like a catfish Acadian, the bed of rice with 2 catfish fillets smothered in crawfish etouffee.
Oh, yes.
If you were to go in there and get that from Mama's Cafe on Chapatulas, you would fucking keel over. Your stomach would bust.
My mouth just watered.
Yeah, right?
Like straight out from the corner of my mouth.
Yeah.
Thinking about that. Oh, my God.
Okay, one more fun fact. I was a cook for almost 7 years at a bunch of different restaurants. I was telling him earlier, the only type of restaurants that I've never worked in are Chinese and Japanese. I've never done sushi or Chinese food because they usually just hire their 8-year-old children to,
Very valid.
Like China Taste next to George's. I'd go in there all the time, and there'd be a girl who's like 11 wearing glasses working the register, you know what I'm saying? But this is just a fun fact in general. Some people may already know this. If you like steak like me, I fucking love steak. I'm a big meat eater. I'm a big meat eater. And I love a good New York strip or a good ribeye. Bone-in is good. I like that. But one time I was working at a restaurant, and this was it was a seafood sort of Louisiana grade. They made their specialty dish was called the pontchartrain, which was a bed of rice, black drum, which is just like they have redfish and speckled trout, and then they have a black drum, which is essentially the cheaper version of redfish. Yeah. And then on top of that was a fried soft shell crab with some crushed up almonds, and then homemade in-house hollandaise sauce. It was fucking delicious. It was like $60 a plate. It's a very good restaurant, but they had
$60
for that plate. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
And it comes with the house salad, and then the specialty side is the twice baked potato, which has cheese and bacon in the potato.
A little pricey, but that sounds really good.
It's Louisiana Lanyap. That's what I'm talking about. I was a cook there for 2 years, and I was the only person in that kitchen that didn't go to culinary school. So I got shit on every day at work. It was a tough place to be.
Man.
I was the youngest person in the kitchen. I started out as a server and a bartender, and that lasted all of 3 months until they found out I had kitchen experience. And they put me in the back of the house, and I never saw the front of the house again. And I went from making my month's rent, like $600 with just 3 or 4 shifts in 1 week, to barely making my month's rent with a 2-week paycheck in the kitchen. Because I made fucking bank at that restaurant. That's like a white tablecloth.
Yeah.
Gordon McKernan. John Gordon would come in there all the time with his
no
sons.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like Rocco's or something.
He's like a regular?
Yeah, him and the Dudley DeBosier guys were.
No shit.
Yeah, and this
Dudley DeBosier.
It involves Dudley DeBosier. They had 8 to 10 ounces. They vary based on the cuts. A5 Wagyu ribeyes for sale on the menu. It's $162 and some change, right? For that, if you wanted that. And this guy ordered it medium rare to medium. Medium is he wanted it just a little bit not all the way medium rare.
I feel like that's a little bit too fucking specific. Like, get over it.
It was
yourself.
one of the Dudley DeBosier dudes because the waitress.
Just say medium rare. Just say medium. Get it over with. Why go? What? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway.
So medium is the hardest temperature to cook on a steak. It doesn't matter the thickness because what happens is whenever you pull it, especially on a flame grill, which is what we use. We use a flame grill because we wanted to get perfect diamonds. Diamonds like on the searing diamonds.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
we wanted
damn, bro.
diamonds.
Y'all paying attention to everything, bro.
Yeah, we had to like roll it and shit to make sure the diamonds laid out flat. It
Oh
was
my
God. It was a
God.
process. But anyway, on a flame grill, when you're cooking a steak like that, especially fucking $170 steak, essentially, pressure's on.
Yeah, dude.
And when you know that medium is the hardest temperature to cook, because once you pull that steak off and put it on the plate, it's still cooking.
Yeah.
Even though it's off the flame grill, it's still cooking.
Right.
And this guy wanted it medium rare to medium, somewhere in between there. So for safety reasons, I leaned a little bit more to the rare side.
Right.
I was like,
so you can let it cook until it hits that midpoint.
And it might hit that midpoint perfectly. Let's see. Motherfucker sent it back.
What was the complaint?
Too rare. So really, he should have just asked for medium.
Right.
Because Carson, that was the name of our head chef at the time, he studied at Le Cordon Bleu in Paris. This guy was fucking for real. Like, he was an actual head chef. And just to make matters worse, he's 6'4" and 210 pounds. He's a scary son of a bitch. He comes over and he cuts that steak up with a knife. He's like, that's too rare. Throws it down. And he goes, that's coming out of your paycheck. And for a line cook working flame grill, making $13 an hour, $170 steak.
That's
although
crazy.
I got to eat it, that is not something I can really just afford.
Right.
So it was devastating. So behind the line, because
what a dick.
yeah, he was a fucking cocksucker. I hated that dude. I went back years later when I could afford to eat there, and I sent my food back just to piss him off. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I was fucking with him that night. But that same night we got into it again, like later on that evening about something. I don't even remember what it was, but I do remember that I called him a cocksucking asshole, and he took a boiling pot of peas off of my grill because I had it over one of the flames, threw it at me.
And that bitch hit you?
No, I fucking ducked out of the way, and it went all over my fucking grill. Everything steamed up real crazy. Right then and there, took off my apron, said, fuck you, and threw my apron on the floor of his kitchen and walked out. And then I said, you can mail my last check to my home address. I walked out. 2 weeks later, I was working at George's.
No shit.
And they hired me and started me at $15.60 or something. It was more than $15.50 because, like, George's happened to be the current owner. He passed away, Smokey Bourgeois. That was his favorite restaurant, was Louisiana Lagniappe. He and his wife would go there all the time. Even though he owned George's, they would go there all the time. So whenever he found out I was applying, he was like, oh, hook this guy up. He knows how to cook.
Shit.
If he's coming from that kitchen, he knows how to cook.
Right.
Yeah, so they hooked me up with, like, way better pay